You're such an asshole.
Oh, you guys got problems, I got solutions. As long as you got money, go to assholeconsulting.com. We are here, back at the headquarters. Dear Cappy, and greetings from the socialist nightmare that is Scotland. I've been watching your videos for some time now. I've referred many of my friends to your channel, both for comedic value and great advice you provide. Keep up the good work. I am fucking awesome. I'm a Scottish 22-year-old man currently studying for a PhD in the STEM field. We'll leave it at that. Whilst also working in a very high-end industry with an IQ of 147. He is going to make more money than all of us. I've also traded financial market securities successfully for the last few years, and I'm about to support myself relatively comfortably. I have a younger sister with whom I'm very close who's studying finance at the same university. Tell her to get out of that. Get out of finance. Go into accounting or STEM. Just tell her to get the fuck out of finance. I've tried to instill in her a good work ethic, to appreciate the value of time and money, and to try to ward her away from the likes of feminism and other forms of activism that prevail on Scottish university campuses. She also works part-time while studying. Recently, we have both gone back home to visit her family. Her old school friends, also back home due to university holidays, would often be around at our house to catch up. Many had come back with totally different accents. Some were Americanized and others spoke in posh English accents, which I find quite fucking disturbing. I joined in one of the conversations, and a lot of what was said had me wondering what the fuck was being taught at Scottish university campuses. Her friends' conversations highlights include telling my sister that she would never earn as much as me because I'm a male, and as a female she automatically is oppressed by the patriarchal society. Well, let's do this. Have your sister watch this so she understands that you paid good fucking money for this, that you're concerned about her, and you love her enough for you to pay the money, and this. I'm going to debunk these one by one. She can make as much money or more than you if she goes into a better field and works harder than you. Of course, you are in a very good field and a very hard field to get into, and she's got stiff competition, but she is not automatically oppressed by the patriarchal society. That's what lazy fucking cunts and bins, I know that's a curse word in Australia, I don't know about Scotland, use as they major in the worthless liberal arts degrees. Claiming also that because I'm white, I am privileged, and therefore everything I have accomplished up to this point is as a result of said privilege and not my hard work. Are there any minorities in Scotland? I mean, you guys are pretty far up north there. No, that's a lie too. You work hard, and minorities, I don't know so much in Europe, but definitely here in the United States, are given huge legs up, and they still fuck it up because they are defeated, self-defeatism. Oh, well, they're white, so why try? It's like, dude, you have so much fucking opportunity in the world that is not given to the standard white population. So, are you sure they're not just jealous of you? I mean, that requires they be intelligent enough to know the field you're in is going to pay you a hell of a lot more. Taking offense when I spoke critically about issues they termed non-white, claiming it was cultural appropriation, whilst ironically not objecting if it was a positive comment, double standard. So you try to argue with him, didn't you? You try to argue with brainwashed people. You're not going to win. You're not going to lose either. You are talking to people who no longer think. They are not using their frontal lobes, and they're just being brainwashed. All right. I know you're young, but let me explain this so you save yourself some time. Especially young females going to the liberal arts colleges. They're the opposite of what they claim to say. I'm an independent woman, I'm intelligent, rah, rah, rah. It's like, but then they just sop up and never critically think about what they're being told. They never test the integrity of what they're being told, seeing if it matches in the real world. Heck, seeing if it even makes any fucking sense. It's a religion. You're just as likely to dissuade someone from abandoning Christianity if they're a uber Christian, or someone from ISIS out of Islam. This is their religion. Because, and I bet you could do your own little study and your little statistical analysis. If you look at these girls, they're pretty worthless. They're not majoring in finance like your sister. They're not majoring in engineering like you. They're not. All they have, their biggest accomplishment is that they went to school and got good grades. That's it. And then after, they're going to have nothing else but this religion. So people who have nothing else in their lives typically find a religion that does not require a lot of work, effort, toil, or slavery, or not actual slavery, but doesn't take any effort. And because they're more afraid of real work and toil than they are living a fake life and substituting a fake religion in for value, right? If that makes any sense. So these are worthless, lazy people, probably evidenced by their worthless degrees. They're espousing this bullshit. I mean, and look at everything they've espoused so far. Has one thing helped advance society? Have they said, yeah, I worked at the oil change shop. I worked at the lube joint. I changed oil in cars. I helped out my fellow man. What have these girls done to help out fellow society? Except for bitch and whine. They provide no solutions. They only bitch and whine. And that's a religion. That's their value. So I would kind of point that out to your sister. Like, do you want to become these people? Right? What have they done to actually help out society except bitch and whine about it or study it? Because even though I don't like finance degrees, your sister would presumably go and work at a company or a bank, and it would make things more efficient. She would do some kind of business analytics. She would process loans. She'd do credit analysis. That actually helps and serves society. What her friends are going to do, besides bitching and whining and asking for more government money, I don't know. Well, I do know. They're not going to do anything else other than that. Praising socialism and advocating income tax of 90% on the top income bracket, which is only £43,000 a year in Scotland. Oh, God. Well, they could go to Sweden or North Korea or Venezuela. Well, I told them that the idea was fucking retarded by referencing both the Laffer curve and the system of serfdom that would result. They called me an evil capitalist and told me that I had no right to comment on it because I didn't have an economics degree. Well, they don't have an economics degree either. They told me I had no clue about energy economics, so I told, well, you're studying, you're in the fucking field, you're in engineering. Well, I told them that I was anti-green energy, namely wind farms, which have destroyed the Scottish countryside, despite my engineering background. But okay, again, you're heading up against a religion. There is no reason or evidence. I'm going to burn in hell. If I argue with the uber Christian, the answer is I will burn in hell. No matter what we talk about, like, hey, I know that was a pretty big arc, but did you really get two animals? How'd the animals from North America get over there? Are the Indians, the native Indians, the millions of them that were over on the North American and South American continents that didn't know a fucking thing about Jesus, are they all going to burn in hell? Seems kind of unfair to me. Well, you're going to burn in hell. You see, that's what you're running into. So don't think that these are smart, reasonable, rational people. These are zealots. These are ideologues. These are their religion is uber alles, and there's no reason or evidence that's going to get to them. And what you're doing in questioning them is you're forcing them to entertain the fact, not even look at a mirror, but entertain the fact that they're worthless people, that they might be wrong, that all this effort that they've put in since kindergarten or 5 years old, whenever you start school over there, to college, this is the culmination, their entire life has culminated up to college, and that's the pinnacle. That's the achievement. Fuck what happens after. They've not thought that through. They've been told this entire that this is what gives them value, and you're undermining that. What do you think's going to happen? I mean, you should. You just ruin their day. It's awesome. It pisses them off. But try to convince my sister to read some BS feminist literature and go on a women's march. Oh, they tried to. Well, yeah, go ahead. Look. Present the evidence. Don't deny your sister the right to live. Okay, go over there and see how many of these women are pretty, happy, angry, fun to be around, have a plan B, have a tangible plan on something to do. Ask them if their degrees are worthwhile or worthless. Get your sister the book, and then get your sister the book Worthless, and see if that book doesn't make any. That's like the least political book I have out there. There really isn't much to it. It's just kind of, here's the facts, kid. Don't prevent her from going. Don't be a zealot like these guys. Allow her the decision of freedom. Because I guarantee you, and this is something you can tell your sister, and sister, if you're watching, why don't you go and offer an unpopular opinion or something that they disagree with and see if they hear you out? You don't even have to believe in that particular argument that you're going to tender to them. But see what the response is. Is it an emotional, violent, hate-filled? Are they going to call you names? Kind of like they did your brother? Or are they going to say, oh, that's interesting, why do you think that? Because one is an adult reaction, the other is a psychopath, brainwashed, uber-religious, zealot type reaction. I don't know who you want to become. I went batshit fucking insane when I said the gender pay gap existed purely because the majority of women choose not to major in mathematically rigorous subjects. There you go. You smacked them right in the face. You told them their religion was bullshit. What their lives were built up to was worthless. You're right. You're 100% right, but they absolutely would go batshit insane. That's like telling a Jesus freak saying, Jesus doesn't exist. Big isn't beautiful. Called me homophobic when I said non-binary gender pronouns were bullshit. Yeah, right. Okay. After being called a chauvinist and misogynist, evil white male, enough that the phrases were effectively meaningless, I came to the conclusion that I was the same one and they were all retarded and brainwashed. Well, they're brainwashed. What pisses me off more is that I used to be fairly good friends with some of these girls, but clearly they had undergone a diabolical transformation in the space of 2 years. It wasn't until later that I would find out the common denominator, which was that they, all 8 of them, were studying worthless liberal arts degrees. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? See, I wonder if it's a conscious thing or not. This is what I really wonder about liberal arts degrees. Like, it seems such a streamlined machine. It's too precise. It's too scripted. It's too automatic. It's too mathematical. Take girls out of high school, put them in liberal arts schools, generate leftists. And whereas I don't give liberals and leftists the intelligence to know what they're doing, because this seems so automatic, it's like an assembly line. It makes me wonder if at the top there isn't a smart person knowing exactly what they're doing. Like there is an intelligent leftist, there is a smart leftist. Like, yep, we just take them in. They are nice little girls, and we turn them into insufferable feminist cunts. and in the process, we turn them into voters for us. And we deny men any sane, happy marriages, and they vote for government. And we get. I mean, I know I could see the lines. I could see obviously why they're doing it. Why the left has every incentive to ruin young women's lives and turn them into wards and disciples, acolytes of the state. But I don't see intelligent people in academia who do it. But it just is this amazingly efficient system. That they turn it. But yeah, they all have worthless degrees. Degrees like international relations, psychology, politics, English literature, and my personal favorite, media studies. These girls were clearly not independent-minded. No, they were not, and I believe their opinions were clearly put there either by their peers or by faux academia socialist professors. What's worse is that the female demand for these BS degrees is accelerating in the UK. For example, female psychology majors now numbers 17,685 compared to 11,000. Wow, that's a lot. See, but they're all going to see, and there's a scary prospect. All these girls become masters, experts at psychology, and then you and I are the ones with problems. Even though the world's going to pot and everything, they can't fucking generate electricity because you don't believe in wind, so then you're thrown into the can. Yeah, that's we happy few. All right, first, having watched your videos, I only consider the BS education problems you mentioned as being an exclusively American issue. Oh, no. But I'm starting to wonder, have Scottish, and for that matter, UK-wide universities been infected with all this propaganda coming out of America? Yeah, dude, it wasn't even the United States that, I don't even think we spearheaded it. I think it happened in Western civilization, Western countries in general. All the liberal arts have always been the refuge for the weak, for the lazy. And usually you could go and there'd be genuine philosophers, there would be genuine artists that went in there. But certainly in yours and my lifetime, and especially today, I'd say certainly for the past 50, 60 years, the liberal arts and the humanities have been where criminals go who have egos. You know, I've always said I have more respect for somebody who's on welfare because they just want to collect their check and go play video games and relax and have fun. Not academians. Simply collecting a government check is not enough for them. Their egos will not abide it. So they have to go through some bullshit made-up academic thing, academia, getting a worthless liberal arts degree and getting their doctorates, and then they have to have some made-up worthless degree or job at the end of them, so a lot of them become professors, a lot of them go into social work, all these made-up government programs that don't ever solve a problem or ever do anything except employ these worthless people. So you got the financial aspect of welfare, but then you have to give them this ego welfare where it's like, you're a vice reserve diversity director or assistant person at that nonprofit at the NGO financed by the United Kingdom tax. Yes, you're very intelligent. Yes, you are, little Amy. You're just such a smart person. Oh my goodness, you have a doctorate and you worked at a night. You're a vice reserve assistant diversity principal director. hasn't done one fucking lick of good for anybody. The person serving coffee's done more GDP actual contribution to society. But these people, they need the monies, and then they need the ego, and they're just disgusting, sick people. Firstly, second, what advice would you give to my sister on how to deal with friends who are clearly indoctrinated with BS and trying to convert her? She still wants to continue to be friends with them, even though they are losers. One took out 2 overdrafts to buy a 3,000-pound handbag. Is that fucking cunt a goddamn... So there, point that right out. Point that to your sister. Like, look. She's saying that we got to give all this money. She wants a 90% tax on people that make $43,000. Then she spends 7,000 pounds, which to the United States, I think it's what, roughly 2 to 1. It's like a $5,000 handbag for Americans, and racked up 6 parking tickets in a week. Is she paying for that? Why is it? She's. I mean, honest, I would never buy it. Shit, I've bought car. I don't think I've spent that much on a car. No, I haven't. My truck came close. I got a truck for $5,400, but. I mean, shoot. Just, okay, we'll get it. I've thought of telling her my stance to never tolerate leftism or those who attempt emotional manipulation, but I'm concerned about coming across as a total asshole despite being well-intentioned and fuck our relationship up. Apologies for my lack of conciseness. No, it's a great story to read, and I appreciate if you keep my name anonymous. Many thanks, Frank. Why do you tell me to keep it anonymous at the end? Fuck's sake, now I gotta go back and edit it. All right, look, here's what you do. Show your sister this video. That's the best way to do it. And of course, I'm cursing and swearing and all that. But you should have a conversation where you say, look, these women are hypocrites. These women are not working. They're not producing anything of value. Isn't it odd that they all have the same thing and all the same philosophies? Isn't it odd that I'm the racist and the sexist? I don't know anything about economics, but they don't either, but I'm not allowed to try. I mean, isn't it odd I'm the one in the engineering program working in the field of energy, but they're not going to... It's stuff like that. But what I would really do is have her go to one of these feminist rallies. Have her go to one of these things and say, look at them. Look, is this what you want to become? Because here's the thing. Deep down inside, I don't care what they say. I don't care what women say. Right? Because I'm of the age now, the truth comes out. They're all like, when they're like 20 and in their teens. Then all of a sudden they're 35 and 40 and they went down that path. They wasted their youth studying a degree that wasn't going to land them a job. If they're lucky, they get some kind of job or not. They get a grant, and I don't know if you guys got grants, but it's all taxpayer funded and it's a temporary job, but the money's always leaked because I don't know, the fucking taxpayers would like the money. And then, they don't need a man, that feminism thing like that, the male hatred in that, that denies them a husband, or if they do get a husband, he's typically weak and he's not a master, he's not what they really want. And what they end up doing is they waste their lives pursuing this religion, and that's what it is, this lifestyle, this religion, this bullshit. And what they should have been doing, what they really wanted, was to have children and a family. They wanted to have a husband and kids. But that time has gone by. It's done and over. And those that did have a husband, they're typically divorced. The kids they had, if they did have kids, they outsourced them to daycare. They're not happy. They're not miserable. They didn't have the nuclear family. And their careers never really paid off. And now they're just bitter, pissed off older women. And that's what I see. So her friends that I'm not joking. I'm not saying this to side with your brother, dear. Please pay attention. The girls that your brother runs into now, this malarkey that was happening over at the house, those girls I ran into them 20 years ago, and now they're in their 30s and the 40s, and they are miserable. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased to the right or that's what I like to see. I have seen it. It's true. They're miserable. They're divorced. They've never married. They don't have kids. And what you have to ask, dear, I'm talking to your sister now, is if you really want to have... I know the schools and academia has told you being a stay-at-home mom is for losers, and you shouldn't want you, and your career is more important, it's you. Well, yeah, but what if you, deep down inside, really want to just get married and have kids? And the reason I say that is because that's what most people want. Men want, typically, and women, most people want to get married and raise families, because that's what we've been genetically programmed to do. The left has, and again, I don't know if this is conscious or not, but has effectively made huge efforts to get rid of the family and replace especially fathers with the state. That's what they've done. All right? And the question is, do you want a government check, or do you want a loving husband and loving kids that you spend time with? I mean, another perfect example is all these career women, all your friends, what they're going to, if they do have kids, their careers come more importantly than their children. And this isn't necessarily right or left. This is just women in general, conservative or not. Their career. So they have these kids. I've always found this very odd. They spit out kids, and then they immediately ship them off to daycare. It's like, did you want to raise them and have fun with them? Like, I got nieces and nephews. They're fucking fun as hell. Holy shit, we get to wrestle. One makes a great workout utility. She's like a weight. I do push-ups and lat pulls. And I'm just like, why would you go to work? The guy loses and then he's got to go to work. Or whoever goes to work, the stay-at-home parent gets that. You gotta train him and all that. What kind of life do you want? And then ask yourself, be honest with yourself. Because if you're not honest, you're going to do just what every girl in my, well, not every girl, but most girls in my generation did, and that is waste their youth and waste 2 decades of their time. Pursuing degrees that they never were going to use, degrees they probably deep down inside hate, learning and being brainwashed to hate other people, and then not having a husband or a family or kids. You can't go back. We can impregnate women at any point in time we want. Our sperm, we don't fire blanks until we choose not to fire blanks. You girls, you have your youth for only a certain amount of time, and you can only get pregnant, healthily so, for a certain amount of time, and then it's done. So you have to really ask yourself, who do you want to become? And I understand if you don't want to have kids, because I don't want to have kids either. But do you want to become what these girls become, and that is angry, pissed off, embittered leftist feminists? Or do you want to be happy, now you're in finance, and she'll be going into finance. Bank, I mean, God, yeah, I hope you have a passion for it, because I majored in finance. Read Worthless. Have your brother get you the book Worthless. But, basically, speaking to the brother now, present to her where these paths in lives end up. Her friends are going to become my 20-year-old or 40-year-old colleagues 20 years later, and she can look and see where they end up. Or she can look at, like, say, someone like a Jen Loken. Look her up. Or these women that have traditional nuclear families. This doesn't mean they don't go to college. They certainly do go to college, but they go on to college or they go get a degree or a skill and something that actually produces something of value. They become bakers. I know not a welder. What is she? Oh, a metalsmith of some kind. They have a skill or a trade and actually do something. And they're not so angry. They're not so pissed off. So that's how I would get your little sister, show her this video, make your arguments, get her the book Worthless. But the other thing, and both of you have to realize this, is you're like, oh my God, these are my friends. No, look, you're going to lose these friends. Even if they are good people, you're not going to, these people in high school, even the people in college, you're not going to hang out with them. You're just not. Because they're going to go their own way. And by the way, they don't like you anymore, pal. They don't like you because you're not a leftist. You're not thinking like them. You said mean, truthful, hurtful things to them. And they've gotten rid of you as a friend, whether you realize that or not. That's how little the friendship meant to them. You've got to understand, their politics is more important than anything else in their life. Just like a Jesus freak, Jesus is more important than anything else. Their religion, their politics are more important than your friendship. And they'll be more important than your sister, especially if she has her own independent ideas. All of a sudden she goes and she works down in London, makes some really good money. Let's say she's lucky, she gets into the finance sector. Makes 100,000 pounds. They want to take 90% of it. Now she's poor. She's a pauper. Oh, but her little friend who just spent 3,000 pounds on the bag that daddy no doubt paid for, and the taxpayer subsidized her college so she could afford that in the first place. She's all right because she thinks the right way. Anyway, yeah, it's a sickness. It's a mental sickness. That's what it is. It's not. This is beyond. Well, I just think you have the right. We have a difference. No, when they start, calling you a homophobe and they alienate, they get rid of you as a friend, and reason and evidence doesn't ever enter their world. Yeah, you're dealing with psychos. You're dealing with ideologues. And I'm sorry, I don't know about you, but my life is too fucking short to deal with it. So for you, don't worry about it. They were never going to be your friends anyway. Even if they were considered, you just don't hang out with these people after college. You just don't see them again. But for your sister, yeah, your sister's right there at the precipice. She could go and rah-rah and men suck and patriarchy. Yeah, go ahead, do that. Go ahead and do that, all right? But just be aware, the old captain warned you where that path leads, all right? Or you can major in STEM like your brother. Nothing wrong with majoring in finance. I just don't like it. I think if you're going to put that much effort into it, you might as well major in engineering, make a lot more money, be a lot easier. Or you can major in a real subject, produce something of real value, find a real man, have kids if you want. If you don't have to, if you don't have kids, go drive Ferraris, hang glide, go travel Europe, enjoy life, love your husband, and know that it's not a government check or a fucking liberal leftist feminist ideology or religion that gives you value in life. Basically, that basically would explain it right there. Do you want to derive value in life from what you do for a living, helping out other people through your work? Or is it merely saying the correct and politically correct things that everyone pats you on the head because that's good, you believe in global warming, that's good, that's good, that's good. You choose. You tell me who sounds more intellectually honest and interesting and who's more fun to hang around with and who's going to have a happier, successful life. All right, best of luck to all of you. Toodles.